Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Historia.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Kylie.
And this is our two-parter.
Yay! Episode 39. 39. Woohoo!
Lord.
Jeez, we just, 39 episodes, we still don't have an intro. Like we have a song, but we always just start it randomly.
You know what? That's
It's
us.
fine.
We're terrible. We're unorganized.
Yeah, and it's perfectly okay. I'm excited for today because I have no idea what Jamie's talking about, but she's going to be talking about it for the next 2 weeks. So, Yay!
So my topic this week kind of talks about war.
Oh.
So I kind of want to talk about what's going on.
Okay.
About, Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It is very scary.
My hearts go out for all the Ukrainian people.
Yes.
Last week. It's been going on for the last couple weeks. I think this is coming out 2 weeks from now? Or next
1 week. Yeah, so the first weekend of March.
Yeah, so I don't know we don't know what's happening at
Right.
this point, but
Yeah.
right now it is, the
6th. It's pretty fresh right now, I feel like.
Yeah, so James and I have been watching a lot on the news just because he's in the military.
Yeah.
So you never know if he has to get up
Right.
and leave.
It is scary.
We're not even married, but I feel like I'm a military wife at this point.
I mean, almost.
Yeah, so it's absolutely terrifying, but
Yeah, it is.
just seeing Ukraine really hold their ground is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Coming together. And...
Yeah, because you would have never thought, it's just...
Yeah.
They're a developed country, for sure, but it's just with Russia, you thought they would be...
Yeah, it's wild.
Russia, but... So, just the topic of war. You never thought, something like this would happen in our generation, in our lifetime.
And this will make the history books.
Yeah, because our parents went through it all. They went through the Cold War of having those pretty much monthly drills where they have to hide under a desk. That's going to do shit from a bomb. But it's so stupid.
I know, right? Cover your head.
Pretty much, and it's just you're going to be vaporized. It's not going to make a difference. But dealing then with, all of the wars in between, especially being, seeing your family in the First World War, just Vietnam, Korean War. It's we never really thought, especially in 2022, that something like this could happen.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
it is, it's terrifying.
So that is a little, I guess, current events.
Yeah, our heart goes out to them right now during this time.
Yeah, watching, because TikTok it's amazing how close you feel of witnessing everything through your phone. Because, the news, even James was saying, he was just the news really doesn't show you anything. They show you pretty much just, the vehicles, but there's only so much that they can show because it's national news.
Yeah.
But, on TikTok, they're showing, missiles going through their homes.
Yeah,
or,
people crying and...
Yeah. There is... Okay, so people hold with me now about talking about, news and stuff.
Yeah.
But this situation just made me laugh. I don't know why. So, James and I were watching the news, and there's a reporter who's in Ukraine right now, in the freaking battle zone area.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he approached these soldiers, and he was like, "Hey, who's leading this fight?" And with broken, he was speaking in broken Russian or something, and they replied Russia, and he's like, "Really? What?" And he was like, "Who are you guys?" And they're like, "We're Russian." He was talking to Russian soldiers.
Oh my God.
The Ukrainian soldiers. So he's like, "Oh, we gotta get out of here." He's like, "Oh shit."
He's like, I gotta go.
Yeah. This dude survived though, but a lot of the up close videos was just him trying to get the fuck out of there. I was just like, oh my God, this dude literally had no clue
That is so funny.
I was like, of course that would happen. This dude literally was like, what are you?
For Russia. He's like, oh crap.
Shit, like,
Run.
Pretty much. And that's
like that Vine that's like, run.
Honestly, I'm surprised. There might be a meme or a TikTok of that right now, but I thought, listening to that, I thought it was just the funniest thing.
That is so funny.
It's like, in that situation, you're just like, am I gonna die? Like, did I really fuck up this bad? But, like, dude's ballsy. I gotta give him that.
Oh, yeah.
Being, like, all of those people being in, like, the front lines just to report on news for all of us, like, that's...
Oh, yeah.
I have a very, very straining relationship with my views on, like, reporters.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly just, like, gossip columns and reporters that I don't
it
support,
depends on them.
But stuff like this, I'm just like, y'all are in the front line. Like, your lives are at risk. Literally, this guy's life was at risk.
That's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're talking about war today, then.
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
Kind of.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
I'm now talking about a specific war.
Okay. You're talking about a person?
I am.
Okay. Cool.
She is...
She? Ooh.
one of a kind.
I'm excited.
So yeah, this is going to be a two-parter because there's so much to her. But she is bold. She is badass. Not to some, I guess, mixed standards. She is beautiful.
Uh-huh.
She is Cleopatra!
Oh! I should have guessed that.
Oh my god, I love Cleopatra's story. It is so fascinating. Not a lot of people know about, like, the actual story about Cleopatra.
Oh,
they
so
just
excited.
know about the Elizabeth Taylor's version, which...
Yeah.
nothing like her.
Oh, I'm so excited!
Yes. I know. I was talking to my coworker about Cleopatra, and I was telling her about a lot of the information that I found in my research.
Yeah.
She's like, what? She's like, I didn't know this about. I was like, yeah, not a lot of people really know her story.
Yeah, no.
They just, when you think of Cleopatra, what do you really think of?
That she, like, I don't really know that much about her. Like,
Yeah.
I can imagine her and, like, what she looks like, but I couldn't tell you, like, her life story.
Yeah, because she is such an iconic symbol.
Yeah.
And just, like, her name, when you think of it, you're like, oh, hell yeah, she's Egyptian.
Right. I know she's Egyptian and she's pretty.
So, with her story, it's very interesting because she is technically not Egyptian with her line.
Oh? Okay.
Her family's line is Greek.
Oh. What? Okay.
So, yeah. So, I'm going to do backstory because you can't just start with Cleopatra and go for it. Like, you have to start with her family line of how it started.
Yeah.
Because there's just too much to it.
Okay.
She is the last reigning pharaoh of Egypt. A female was.
Really?
Yes.
The last one?
Yes.
Damn.
After that, Rome took over.
Okay.
And I'll get to that because it's freaking chaos. This is why I need 2 weeks, because her life, in the span that she lived, was batshit crazy.
So are you mostly going to talk about, like, the beginning, her family line, and, like, the beginning of her life in this week's?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yes, so this week is kind of be like her lineage, in a sense, of then her building up to a certain point in her life.
Awesome.
And then next week I will cover her downfall and then the end.
Sweet. Okay.
So,
I'm
yeah,
excited.
because when I started writing my notes, it took me over 3 days to really, like, go through all of the information.
Yeah.
Of course, my book that I did is one that I've used before, The Rise and Fall of Ancient Egypt by Toby Wilkinson. This book, you're probably like, why do you keep using this book? Well, this book is like...
has a lot of things in it.
Yeah, it's about 600 pages long. It's huge. And it has literally from the beginning to the end of ancient Egypt.
And this is like our 3rd episode on Egypt, I
Yeah,
think.
so I apologize, I'm doing another Egyptian
She
one.
loves Egypt, okay?
I do. But she's just one that I really wanted to cover because I wanted to do a two-parter, and I knew for her story I could do one.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Like I said, I knew she's a pharaoh. She's from Egypt.
Yes.
That's about it.
Yes.
So I'm excited. Hi, Rubes.
Ruby, are you excited?
I can pet you.
You come from Egypt, don't you? You're Egyptian, don't you? You're Egyptian? Okay. She's like,
okay.
What does that mean?
All right.
All right, so we start with another Egyptian tale today.
Yes.
But this week is more than myth. So all of my previous, like, Egyptian topics I have covered are more mythology. But this week, this shit is fact, in a sense. There are some myth and some legend behind some of the things that happen. But the story you go through, it happened. Like, it's history. It is. It's ancient history, because we are starting in BCE. We're in BCE this week.
Yeah.
So before Common Era, if you don't remember, BCE is before Common Era. BC is before Christ, and then BCE or AD is after death. Yeah. CE is Common Era. I go BCE and CE.
Lots of letters.
Yes, there are a lot of letters.
The whole alphabet here.
Yeah, so I just tell you the alphabet. Here we are with Cleopatra.
Woo!
So today I am going to be speaking on a queen that took not only Egypt by storm with her fight for independence of her land and culture, but also against Rome to keep the land hers. Because during this time of her reign, Rome was looking real close at Egypt. Like, it's looking pretty good.
And she's like, it's mine.
Yes, because Rome, believe it or not, it was growing fast. And it was growing powerful, because it used to be Greece. But then Rome stepped up their game. Yeah. And so, because after Alexander the Great, it kind of just fell from there.
Right.
But,
okay,
whatever. Before we discuss the queen herself, we must talk about what led up to the time of her birth. So, today is Cleopatra the 7th. So, there are other Cleopatras before her in her line. She is the 7th out of them.
Oh, cool.
And I believe her daughter that I talk about is another Cleopatra, but she has, like, both a Egyptian and Roman name.
Okay. I wonder if they still use the name in Egypt.
I don't know.
I'm sure, like, someone's named that right now.
Maybe if they believe more of that culture, because if you think it's just the
or
culture
Cleo,
that's
at least.
shaped. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Interesting. So this time period of Cleopatra, the period is also known as the Ptolemaic period. So you would have the Old Kingdom, the New Kingdom, you had like the Ramsey period. This is the Ptolemaic period. There is a reason behind this. This period would begin in 310 BCE to 30 BCE, which would end with Cleopatra.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so she was the downfall, unfortunately. Our first ruler, of course, is Ptolemy the First, who gained control of Egypt when Alexander the Great died and became Egypt's last independent period of rule. So he was an important note of the Ptolemy family is that the Egyptian tradition was important to them, but also Ptolemy was the second in command for Alexander the Great.
Okay.
So he pretty much just got all rights to the throne once Alexander died. Because Alexander died at 32 years old.
Okay.
He was very young.
Wow.
Yeah, but he freaking blew up the Mediterranean by storm. Like, he went rampant. And he created what is a huge city in the capital of the entire story, or the entire history of this era, Alexandria. Because Alexander.
Yeah.
They just feminize everything.
Why not?
For some odd reason. Yeah. Then you have a library, too.
Like fun.
So with this Egyptian tradition that the Ptolemy family really tried to keep, they were also they were praying to the Egyptian gods instead of the Roman gods, which is pretty shocking. But that was one thing Cleopatra tried to do 100%, was to keep the perception for Rome to dress as their counterparts of like Aphrodite and whatnot. But then she also heavily kept to her Egyptian roots of just like praying to all of the gods and keeping those traditions alive, which is it's really nice that she did that, because a lot of just like if Rome and Greece took over, they completely washed out those cultures, whereas she tried to keep it alive, or her family did.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. With them also being Greek, their shift in clothing also was heavily influenced into so they didn't dress as like typical Egyptians as they would. They dressed as Greeks, because a lot of like, since they built Alexandria and it was heavily Greek influenced, it's like a mesh of both. It's wild. And I was watching a video, I was watching a TV series on Disney Plus that's about like lost treasures of Egypt, and they did one on Cleopatra. They were trying to find her tomb.
I was gonna watch that.
Okay. Newsflash: they haven't found her.
Right.
I will give my ideas at the end of next week's episode of what could have happened.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch the full episode. I need to rewatch it.
I'm gonna watch it. I saw it the other day and I was like, I should watch that.
It's actually really, really good. But Alexandria now is huge. It is, oh my God, it is massive, and it's just, you really would have never thought that, like, Cleopatra was here at one point. She lived here. Like, she fought here.
That is weird, yeah.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Like, ugh, I really want to go to Egypt.
One day.
Yes, I just want to go, like, for 2 weeks to hit everything, because, believe it or not, Egypt is massive. It spreads so far from Cairo to like the Valley of the Kings. It's like over 300 miles apart. Yeah, so they were walking a walk. I bet their calves were amazing.
Oh yeah, they had to be. Walking in sand is rough too. Like, whew. All right.
So, though they pray to Hathor and our bro Osiris that I've covered before, the Ptolemies wore Greek clothes and they spoke the language.
Okay.
Yeah, so they did not...
Mix of both.
Yeah, they didn't... Not a lot of them spoke Egyptian. Cleopatra makes the exception.
And of course she does. Mm-hmm. Queen.
During this period, we see the Library of Alexandria, but then eventually the burning of it, which I would like to cover one day, because that is very interesting, and there's a lot of interesting things in that library. So, very sad. But that's a story for another day. Now let's move forward in the Ptolemy family timeline to Cleopatra's father, Ptolemy the 12th. So there's a lot of Ptolemies, because that's what you do.
Yep.
That you name your child after you.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than coming up with a new name.
So unique.
Pass on the legacy.
From the beginning of his rule, Ptolemy the 12th was deemed the new Dionysus. So, of course, that Greek influence. So, they wanted best of both worlds, pretty much.
You get the best of both worlds.
Good Lord.
Sorry. I had to do something while you drink water.
Thank you. My mouth gets very parched.
I would like that tonight, too. It's fine.
He was also supposedly known as young Osiris by the royal court, but he was anything but godly in his people's eyes. Yeah, so up until, I think, like, his father, like, they did pretty good. The Ptolemies ruled pretty good. Mm-hmm. But once it got to Ptolemy the 12th, shit really hit the fan. Like, it was getting bad.
Must be an unlucky number.
I guess so. Well, in the past, Egypt has risen and fell a lot. If you read this book, you will see how often they do really well, and then they really do bad, and then they do really well, and then you get Alexander, and you're like, oh shit, here we go. So, well, in the past, so in Ptolemy's reign, there was a fall that would cost him tremendously. Believe it or not, it was bad. Failing in agriculture and foreign trade, Ptolemy the 12th had to take steps to protect his home from Rome, but also had to keep civilized with the pressing movement to Egypt. So this was causing a lot of issues of Rome being heavily interested in Egypt, and he's like, no, please don't, no. And then just like agriculture, it was hard to farm stuff because I'm guessing there was a lot of droughts going on.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Cleopatra would run into this too. It's just like, you can't grow anything if it's desert or if the Nile is really low. Like, it's going to be impossible to grow the crops that you need.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So instead, he started raising taxes and cuts in public expenditures. The people of Egypt had finally had enough. They're like, we can't survive. We're starving. You're making us unbearable to live here. So they got real pissed. Rising up, the people exiled Ptolemy, who immediately went to Rhodes. And then and he went to different areas around Italy, and then he eventually found himself in Rome. So it's just like, you tried to stay away from Rome, but here you are there.
Interesting.
You can't stay away from Rome.
Nope.
It just reels you in.
They always come back.
Gaining allies from Rome, Ptolemy grew an army from the governor of Syria, Gabinius, where on April 15th, 55 BCE, so remember how BCE works is that the timeline goes down.
Yeah, it's like backwards.
And then once you hit 0, it starts going back up. So remember that, people? So we're at 55 BCE right now. So taking back his kingdom in Alexandria, Ptolemy executed his daughter in rule.
Oh, jeez.
Berenike. Yeah, so he was not having any of it. He wanted to make sure that she was not going to come back. And that's what you do. You take the life of the person who took your throne.
Yikes.
Yeah. And now that, like, I'm really going through this now, Cleopatra is just like her father. Literally. She is like a spitting image of her father in the decisions that she makes.
Interesting.
It blows my mind. This is interesting. So let's focus now on the lady of the hour, Cleopatra.
Woohoo!
Woo! So we've gotten up to where Ptolemy was exiled and then he came back. Yay!
They said at the same time.
Born in 69 BCE in Alexandria. Oh my god, that's funny.
69 2 weeks in a row.
I know! Woo!
Last week was 1969. Woo, that's funny. Okay.
That's
Sorry.
Funny. What, 1900 years apart?
Yeah.
Cleopatra's parents were Ptolemy the 12th and presumably Cleopatra the 6th. Yes, 6th. So Cleopatra the 6th Tryphena. Yeah.
Okay.
So, believe it or not, I believe it wasn't. So when I tried to look up who her mother was, because it only, like, the book only heavily said her father and never mentioned anything about who her mother was, but I believe that is her mother, and her mother is Ptolemy the 12th's sister.
Oh, okay.
Incest child.
Gotcha. It'd
But
be like that.
But it was common.
Right.
My coworker was very surprised at that. She was like, she's an incest child? I was like, they all were.
Yeah, that was what was happening.
I was like, it was very rare when you weren't.
Yeah.
You got lucky.
I guess she's your aunt and mom at the same time.
Gross.
That's interesting. All right.
It was like with the Oedipus episode. It was his mom and his wife.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Oedipus.
We don't talk about Oedipus. I need to stop. All right.
At 4 years of age, Cleo would see how Rome was becoming in power, and eventually at age 11, when Ptolemy was exiled due to bankruptcy, Cleo witnessed it all. So she was 11 when her father got exiled.
Damn, she's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Poor little kid.
She honestly has seen so much in her life. You could say she's damaged.
A little bit. Might need some
But you know
therapy.
what? She pushes through. you know what? She does the damn thing.
She perseveres.
She perseveres in a very interesting way. Now, there is some evidence of writings that Ptolemy took one of his daughters in his exile, and it makes sense that it would be Cleopatra, since she would eventually be co-regent with her father.
Yeah.
So, I didn't really look, I couldn't really find any more on that evidence, because it is, like, 50-50, but it really does make sense that she would, because she has learned a lot. Like, she knew over 9 languages. She understood, like, what Rome was capable of. She knew different cultures and how she was very charismatic and charming. Like, her beauty, I bet it was beautiful then, but I'll describe her, but, like, to our today's standard, or, like, what everybody thinks is beautiful, she's not, in a sense.
Right.
Even though I'm sure she was fine, but she's also a product of incest. So that always causes issues in the appearance.
That'll do it.
And inside. But with her, she was smart. She knew how to navigate ways through just how to get away with things. And I think it would make sense that she was with her father. Especially her father loved her. Like, was pretty much, that's why he made her co-regent with him. And I don't know if that was, like, if he had, like, an infatuation with her. I don't know. But it could have been that he saw so much potential in her. And I don't know if that was his eldest child, because she marries 2 of her brothers later on, as I'll talk about. And they are very much younger than her. So I don't know if that she's the eldest and that why. But
I know you'll talk about it, so I'm not going to ask.
Yeah, it's... yeah,
I'm sure her dad was just kind of like, well, she's a lot like me, so I'm sure she'll be great.
Honestly. So, if she did go to Rome with Ptolemy, she could have learned cultures and lessons of connections, so that makes total sense. To assure that the line would continue, Ptolemy would make Cleopatra his official co-regent. So if anything happened, he knew his daughter would carry the line. So if he pretty much got exiled again, she would be there to take the throne.
Gotcha.
Or still have the throne. Or, I'm guessing, he probably thought he was going to get exiled again. But if he died, he knew that his line would continue on, and it wouldn't go down to one of his siblings.
Okay.
So, and that's what you wanted. You didn't want it to go to, like, your brother or sister. You wanted it to go to your children.
Right.
And it's still the same way.
They gotta be younger.
Like, we know Harry is never going to be in charge.
Right.
He's never going to be king.
No.
Sorry, Harry.
Get over yourself, Harry. Jeez.
Yeah, you're going to have to go through your nieces and nephews before you can. Okay, just wipe your paws, son.
Must feel good.
Now, this line for him would end in 52 BCE. So, pretty much him. Not Cleopatra, but him.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Bye.
In 52. Bye! Within a year, the tragedy would come that would bring Egypt to a new era. So, now, he was gone. Sadness. Cleopatra was in business. She's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be on throne. But this comes with consequences.
Of course.
Along came March 7th of 51, where a solar eclipse came over Egypt. Oh, wait, no, 52, that's where where she was made a co-regent. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It was March 7th of 51, where a solar eclipse came over Egypt, becoming an omen onto the land. Coincidentally, a few days later, Ptolemy the 12th would die. So he died about like the 13th or so.
Oh, wow.
I was wrong, sorry. But yeah, so he died in 51.
Okay.
But yeah, that didn't take long. But yeah, the solar eclipse, bad news. Better watch out for those. Just saying.
Dun, dun, dun.
At this point, Cleopatra would take the role as the new pharaoh. She was 17 years old.
Whoa.
I mean, it's not as young as, like, King Tut, who was 9 years old when he got put on the throne, but...
She was preparing. She's probably ready.
That's still so young.
That is. My God. Still a child.
Yeah. Though she was co-regent with her father, she really thought that she was going to become the true pharaoh. But when his death came, a will was brought up to her that in her father's death, she would have to rule with her 10-year-old brother, Ptolemy the 13th.
What?
Yeah, because technically a woman could not be pharaoh.
Ah.
Yeah, so he was co-regent in training to be pharaoh, and she was like, you're never going to be the throne. Now, a normal, like, in a situation, they would rule together side by side like her and her father did, but she was like, fuck this guy. I deserve to be on the throne.
Yeah.
I don't need him. So, the first, 18 months of her reign, she reigned it alone. Like, she literally just threw her brother off to the side, was like, go play with your trucks or something. I'm here to take care of this. Like, I'm doing the damn thing. You go off.
Go play in the dirt.
Pretty much. That's what she did. This idea did not work well in her favor. Between this time, she struggled like her father did with natural and political concerns, making her own people resent her. So there was a lot of issues going on. An example of this was in the year 50 BCE when there was crop failure and food shortages that went throughout the land. So this probably occurred to drought with the Nile. Just by luck, I can't read my own notes.
I don't remember what you were talking about.
Crop failure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So, an example of this was in the year 50 when crop failure and food shortages went throughout the land. So, Cleopatra was just like, shit, there's a drought going on. The Nile is probably not as full. What are we going to do? I can't feed my people, but here I am eating delicious food.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
So, her people were just like, are you kidding me? You got to do something about this. But it's like, in a drought, you really can't
Like,
do
there's only so
anything.
much you can do.
Yeah, so it's just... But at that time, it's like, with the irrigation and stuff, it just wasn't really a thing to
Right.
try and figure out.
Yeah.
But, like, droughts happen all the time, and you're in a dry climate like that, so food's gonna be hard.
Gotta
And
be
the
very
Nile,
careful with your
yeah.
resources.
Especially with the Nile, you gotta watch out for the gators.
Yeah, of course.
They're gonna come and eat you, and the hippos.
God, so terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. I can't imagine. Probably a lot of deaths going on there. Cleo, in an act of desperate motions to get help from Rome, sent back fugitives who murdered an official's son from there. So she pretty much was like reaching out to Rome, be like, hey, here's some fugitives that like came over here, and just take them, like help us out. Like she reached out to Rome, even though she honestly shouldn't have. Like that was a poor thing, but like she grew up probably like knowing Rome and like her father's relationship with them, that she probably trusted them to an extent. No, she shouldn't have. She believed that the gods abandoned her, but the people also believe that the gods have abandoned them. Mm-hmm. Thinking, like, why would they possess a ruler like this onto us? Like, we need someone to help us.
Right.
So, Cleo would progress relations with Rome by choosing one of the one of the sides in the Roman Civil War. There was a civil war going on with Rome at this time.
Ooh.
You had Pompey, and then you had Julius Caesar.
Ah.
Did you know that they lived in the same time period?
I did not.
Shit gets freaky.
Damn.
Yeah, they not only lived in the same time period, but they interacted more than once. What? And they have a relationship.
Oh, shit.
Yes. He's an old man. Cleo decided, actually, with Pompey first, because as Gabinius, as we remember, helped out her brother, was Pompey's ally. So she was just like, you helped my father, or like your like command like helped my father.
Yeah.
So I'll side with you instead. Like, it'll be chill. Like, I'm gonna support you in your civil war, so like help support me.
Huh.
Pompey did not deliver, though, with protection of her land failing and her people siding with her brother-husband.
Brother-husband.
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like sister-wife just sounds
Sister, wife, brother, husband.
Yeah, it's brother,
so
husband
funny.
just sounds weird.
Yeah.
But it was a matter of time for her to be exiled too. In 48 BCE, this exile did not scare her like Pompey. So she was exiled in 48.
Okay.
Pompey came to Egypt and it did not last very long, and she was just like, he would get murdered.
Oh.
Yeah, not a good sign.
Fun.
But yeah, so she got exiled because her people finally had enough. They were like, get the fuck out of here. But unlike her father, she didn't go to Rome. She went to Palestine because Julius Caesar was in Rome, and she was like, I can't fucking go there. Like, I sided with Pompey. Like,
yeah,
I have to think of, but she also wanted to be close to home because she wanted to return. She's like, I'm not going to stay in exile forever. Like, this isn't what I was born to do. She's like, I was born to rule. So she's like, I'm going to do the damn thing. Now, with her brother now being king of, or the pharaoh of Egypt, he would have to take on another wife. His other sister, Arsinoe.
Oh, so there's another sister.
Yes, Arsinoe, she also has a small role into this. Cleopatra Savage. There's a drunk history episode of Cleopatra. And Aubrey Plaza plays Cleopatra.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but it's about like Arsinoe's story.
Oh, okay.
But this girl was completely trashed telling the story, so the actual like truth of it is very washed.
Yeah.
But it's still so freaking hilarious, and I actually did a report on it in my ancient Egypt class.
Dang. Must be a lot of tea.
It's hilarious. I love it. I've always wanted to be on Drunk History.
Oh, yeah, I love that show.
That is like a dream, but it's no longer, I don't think they're no longer making episodes, which made me really sad. I love that. The British version made me laugh when they did Robin Hood.
We'll just have to make our own.
Oh, God. I think they TM'd it, though. They had to have. I don't like that.
We're going to have to name it something else.
Yeah, but like the idea, can you still do that?
You can. You just have to change some things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like a trademark to be drunk. That's really... all they're doing is being drunk and telling stories. Like, we wouldn't have to act it out.
Yeah.
We just tell the story drunk. It is so interesting to see it act out, though. I don't know.
Dude, this show's so funny. Watch it. It's on Hulu.
Sponsored by... I'm just kidding.
Honestly. Now, she stayed in Palestine, close enough to Egypt, but she started to build her own army. She was like, I am not going to sit down and just have my tail between my legs. Like, I'm gonna build up an army so I can take back my throne.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to sit around and just cry about it. That's not what she was born to do.
No.
That summer, Ptolemy's army and Cleopatra's would battle on the eastern Nile Delta. Ptolemy was confident. Cleopatra did not win. She thought she was going to. No. Ptolemy took the victory in that sense and had been more confident that Cleopatra would not take his throne.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Pompey would retreat to Egypt after Julius Caesar took control of Rome, but this did not last long. As I say, he died. Caesar would come to Alexandria.
Whoa.
To see the new ruler of Egypt.
Oh,
Ptolemy
shit.
the 13th. Yes, he wanted to know what was going on in Egypt.
Sneaky.
Yeah, because Rome always had an interest in Egypt. They were just like,
Gotta know what's going on.
what's going on?
Yep.
Like, you guys are pretty powerful. We could, because it's all about Mediterranean trading and just taking control of that. And because of where Alexandria is, which is like on the border, pretty much like where the ocean is of where the Mediterranean is, like Rome wanted it.
Yeah.
Like, because of trading and stuff like that, like, it would take them to a new level of trading, especially on a different continent. So,
Wow.
I don't blame him.
Nope.
Cleo got word of Caesar's arrival and decided then that she would work her charm on him and get the throne back.
Of course.
So if she knew, she was like, okay, so my army isn't working. I got to do something different. What can I do to get back my throne? And she was like, there was like guards being like, oh yeah, we got it, because she was in prison at this point.
Oh.
Yeah, so the guards were just like, yo, Julius Caesar's in town, like, woo, and she's like, excuse me?
She overheard it.
Yeah, so she found out that he was coming to Alexandria, because I'm sure that was like all of the news, like, holy shit, the new leader of Rome. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she was just like, I gotta get there.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out a way to get my ass out of jail and to go see Caesar. She's like, I gotta do this. So she snuck her way, I don't know how exactly, but she snuck her way past Ptolemy's guards, and she would proceed her way to Alexandria. She was a determined soul to go see her new partner in crime.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, that was her idea that she wanted to be. Now, this is... I don't know how I think this is true, but I just remember my professor talking to me about this scene, and it makes me laugh. So, her way to get into Julius Caesar's room was wrapping herself up in a rug. Yeah, she smuggled herself by rolling herself in a rug. She smuggled into the room in the rug, all wrapped up, and the maids, like, rolled her out, and she popped up. It was like, hello, boys.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she literally...
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was her way of getting in to see Julius, and he was like, oh shit, who are you? She's like, I am Cleopatra.
Nice
to meet you, Julius. I don't think she called him that, but...
Mr. Caesar.
Mr. Caesar, can I get you a salad?
Oh, man. We think we're funny.
Now, little known myth to this day is that Cleopatra is said to be very known by her beauty, as we know by, like, Elizabeth Taylor's adaptation. No. In today's beauty standards, she's like, okay.
Yeah.
So, from research, like, they have done so much research to, like, find of, like, what she looks like, of, like, they've done, like, different, like, portraits and stuff like that, just to really try and find what she really looked like, but because we can't find her body.
Yeah, how can they really know?
Just by, like, all of the different, because by that point, like, you had not only the Egyptians writing down what she looked like, but you also had, like, busts and
so it was just
statues.
however people described her.
Exactly. There was, like, multiple people. So she had, her possible appearance was, she had, like, a hooked nose. And then a pointed chin. So nothing like the Elizabeth Taylor's version, but I'm sure, like, her skin was probably darker.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And that her hair was probably a lot darker, but from what I found is that there's not, like, a lot of, like, an extreme deformity that people found on her. She was really captivating because she would dress the part, and I think that's what made her such, like, a beauty icon, was her appearance.
Yeah.
Is that she did try to be very feminine when it came to, like, her queen role and trying to charm people, but then she also dressed very kind of, like, powerful and kind of not, like, masculine, but also just, like, I mean shit. Like, I mean, like, business when it comes to this.
So it was more so about, like, the way she presented herself.
100%. I think it was more on that kind of beauty of just, like, her presenting, like, I am a strong, powerful woman, and not just, like, her physical beauty.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So this charmed the pants off of Caesar. He was like, holy shit, who are you? Oh, you used to be the queen? Oh my god, like, I really like you. Like, you chose Pompey, but I'm gonna let that slide.
Oh no.
Yeah, he was just like, I am captivated.
Where is this gonna go?
Beautiful woman.
Thanks.
So she charmed Caesar, and of course she knew the language too, so she could communicate with him. Like, she was like, I speak Egyptian, I speak Greek, but I also speak Roman.
And he's just like, whoa, amazing.
I'm pretty sure it was Italian. Yeah, Italian.
Yeah.
So she's like, I can speak your
Not
language.
Roman.
Let me tell you all of these ideas I have. And he's like, oh my God, you're amazing. You're just so amazing.
Where have you been my whole life?
So they spent that night together, and by morning, not only were the two lovers, whoa,
Of course.
but they were also collaborators. So he
Lord.
was just like, I want you on my team, and she's like, I will be on your team.
It's like Bonnie and Clyde.
In a sense, yeah. But I feel like her and Mark Antony were more of like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
I feel like Caesar was kind of like her first love. That you just spur of the moment.
Falling head over heels.
She just fell in love with
The
such
one
an
that
older
got
man.
away.
The one that got away. If you know what happens to Julius Caesar, as I'll explain, you'll be like, you're literally the one that got
He gets away.
Brock gets murdered, like, bad.
Oh yeah, I've heard about his murder. It's crazy.
I want to cover him, like, in his role.
Yeah.
Too. I think that'd be really interesting, because I would still, like, add his relationship with Cleopatra into it as, like, a refresher, but, like, him himself is just wild. So that would be a good one to cover, too, but I'm talking about Cleo right now, so let's go back to Cleopatra. Now.
So they hooked up.
Mm-hmm. So, mind you, Caesar was married and 30 years older than Cleopatra. So dude was like in his 50s, because she was about like 23 at this time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that really says a lot. But besides that fact, she was getting back her throne. Caesar was like, I'm going to back you up. Let's get rid of your brother. Let's do this shit. But of course, like, all of that, like, takes time.
Yeah.
But he was there, like, he literally completely forgot about his wife, and, like, even his country at this point, he was just like...
They're all like, has anyone seen Caesar?
I know.
Where'd he go?
But then again, it was a republic, so there was, like, a bunch of other people who were taking, like, part of it. He was just the face and made other big decisions, but, I mean, it's still important to be there.
He should probably be there, bud.
Because he wasn't even on campaign at that point. So Ptolemy the 12th at this time was not... No, the 13th. I meant to put the 13th. Yeah. It should have been Ptolemy the 13th at this time was not only trying to keep the throne his and keep Cleopatra out, but he was also doing it with Arsinoe, so he was just like, she's getting closer. And Arsinoe is like, fucking do it. Let them do it. We'll come at them. We got our freaking troops. We're coming in hot. Like, Arsinoe was like, fucking do it. Like, I dare them to. And he's
let
like,
them
okay,
try.
okay. He's like, let's let them try.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they actually together, they imprisoned Cleopatra and Caesar.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, they tried immediately when they heard about their collaboration and they found that, like, Cleopatra had made it to Alexandria. They're like, lock these bitches up.
Shit.
So, yeah. So, Ptolemy the 13th and Arsinoe were like, throw them away. Like, we got it. But in 47 of March, BCE, Roman soldiers came to get their ruler. So they found out, like, Caesar has been in prison, and they're like, this isn't going to work. So they sent, like, a bunch of soldiers down and just started going batshit crazy on Alexandria.
Of course.
Yes. And it's like, that's expected.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you can't imprison this, like, this
major
ruler.
leader, yeah.
Yeah, like, you can try, but it's like, you should have just exiled him or been like, get the fuck out of here.
Right. Yeah,
And
just
instead
send him
you
off.
imprisoned him.
Yeah. Threaten him. Don't come back.
That was their first fault.
Yeah.
So, Alexandria was in chaos as the Romans and Ptolemy's army fought, but it was not in Ptolemy's favor this time, so... Ptolemy had all the confidence fighting his sister, but when you're fighting Roman soldiers who have been fighting in Britain, Greece, all over the world, you're screwed. Like, they have been through everything, so just fighting your army, that's not going to be anything new to them. Like, that's what their country is built off of. War. Go figure. To pay for his crimes to Cleopatra, Ptolemy was drowned in the Nile.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
That's drastic.
And that's exactly what Cleopatra wanted. She was like, I do not want him coming back from my throne. Let him die. So, yeah, drown him in the Nile. I'm like...
Shit.
Honestly, like, they pretty much fed him to the crocs.
Yeah,
so.
his body's gone.
Yeah. But, and of course, there was also Arsinoe. And what came of her? Well, she was exiled to Italy.
Oh.
She will make a slight return in the near future of this story, but for right now, she is in Italy doing imprisonment duties. I don't know. She's just
in Italy.
Yeah, and Cleo is keeping a close eye on her because she does not want her to try to overrule her again.
Dang.
So, I was surprised that she just didn't kill Arsinoe right then and there. I thought she would have drowned her with her brother.
I know, I would have been like, drown them both.
But then again, she's like, oh, I'm only the queen. Like, I really didn't have any role in it. I was forced into this. And it's also her sister. Mm-hmm. But at that point, it's like, your blood doesn't really matter when you're a ruler. I don't
think they gave a
no,
shit
it's
about
like,
it.
No, they were more of just like, oh, you're going to marry this person that I also gave birth to. Good luck.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, this is my sibling. Like, I want to grow a bond with them as like, not sexual.
Right.
So, good lord. Now, Caesar and Cleo celebrated, and because of their now collaboration, Rome now placed more stations along the Nile. So, even though Cleopatra fought real hard to have Egypt be independent and do their own thing, she pretty much did the opposite.
Oh.
Yeah, because now Rome was getting that much closer into Egypt. So.
Dang.
But you know what? Like, Caesar and Cleopatra were on, like, this whirlwind romance of, like, we're gonna take the world by storm together. That they completely forgot about any duties to their own countries.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And they just let Rome that much closer into Egypt.
Fun.
Now back in power, Cleopatra kept off regency by marrying another brother. We have Ptolemy the 14th. So, because she wanted to keep her title, she's like, okay, I gotta marry a dude. So, pretty much it was another younger brother.
She's like, hey, bro, I want to get married? And he's like, I guess.
I bet that was absolutely terrifying for him. He's like, oh shit, am I gonna die next?
Oh, yeah. But are you gonna drown me? Are you gonna feed me to the crocs?
Honestly, he probably knew, like, I should just let her do her thing.
Right.
Because I do not want to be like my brother.
He's like, I won't argue and no one gets hurt.
Yeah, there wasn't really much on him, so I think he was just like a background character, just like, oh, you're gone, I guess I'll do stuff.
Just so she could continue to rule.
Yeah, it was just like official.
Yeah.
It's stupid, but it's how it works. Even though she was married to her brother, this didn't stop her affair with Caesar.
Of course not.
No, because freaking monogamy didn't exist for men, and for Cleopatra, she's like, I don't give a fuck. She's like, I'm not gonna have sex with my brother. Which is shocking, because none of her kids are her brothers. They're two different guys that are not even, they're Roman guys.
Oh.
So that's shocker. None of her children are incest children.
Interesting. I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah. Okay. The last Ptolemy family member, in a sense. The last ruler, Ptolemy.
Was it the 14th? 13th. 14th.
14th.
Yeah.
I don't even think he had any kids. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't really do much on him because there wasn't a lot on him. But yeah, just like for Cleopatra, the last pharaoh, none of her kids were Egyptian.
Dang.
I mean, she's kind of Egyptian. She has no Egyptian blood in her, like true Egyptian blood.
Yeah.
Since all of her family members were like from the Ptolemy.
That's very interesting.
Family line.
Wow.
So, Egypt, not so Egypt. Here we go. Let's continue on. By the summer of 47, Cleopatra would have her first son.
Oh,
with Caesar. Everybody in herself knew this was Julius Caesar's child.
Oh.
Like, they just were like, okay, cool. And of course, with Julius Caesar, they're like, we're not going to say anything because this would not end well if we talk shit.
He can still have babies?
Huh?
He can still have babies at the age of 50?
guys can have kids up until, like, they die.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
true.
the
'Cause they
woman
usually,
that can.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's dust
Ew.
by then.
That's gross.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Jesus.
Their first son's name would be, or their only son, or their only child, their child's name would be Ptolemy Caesar.
Oh my god.
Also known as Caesarion. So,
Okay.
Little Caesar.
Little Caesars! Oh my god! Another full circle moment. Moon Santa, Little Caesars.
Oh, God. Now, a special mint coin was even made for his birth, which is pretty shocking. A very important birth for Cleopatra, because it was also her first, and he was also going to be the next one in line.
Her other kid's a daughter. How many kids does she get?
She has 4.
4, okay.
Mm-hmm. But, so, yeah, he is the eldest, and it was a son,
Yeah.
which everybody loves.
Yeah, of
Everyone wants
course.
a daughter.
Right.
So, of course, they were like, oh my god, he's next in line. Like, this is great. Like, the next Ptolemy lineage is going to continue.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, everybody celebrated, and there was just Cleopatra even so much as had a temple dedicated to the goddess of Hathor, as now Cleo believed she had a special connection with, including Isis, Hathor. So, because she was now a mother, she was just like, I am the mother goddess. Yeah.
Fair.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, having her first child, really, honestly, I think it took a lot from her. She was just like, this
is my new role.
I think her connection with the Egyptian gods became stronger when she had a Ptolemy Caesar.
Yeah.
She was just like, I want to have a closer bond with Hathor and Isis. Like, she even built a temple an Inuit temple for Hathor and Isis. Like, that was her contribution during her reign. Because, of course, she had, like, other, obelisks probably made and just, like, statues and stuff. But she also had a temple for Isis and Hathor because she has such a close relationship, knowing that she's like, I'm a mother. I am a mother. I belong. I am close with them now.
Huh.
So, I give her that. She even learned now the Egyptian language and kept with the religious traditions. So everything she just, at this point after she had her kids, she really put a lot of effort into the Egyptian culture.
Yeah.
And I guess that was just like her family, just traditions of just respecting that. And she was just like, now I have a son. I gotta make sure that, like, everything goes to plan and whatnot for his rule and my rule, just, like, making sure that line continues on and to respect it. So, during the birth of her son, Caesar left to campaign around Rome and allied provinces, but ended back in Rome. So, he wasn't really there for, like, the birth of him. He kind of was just like, hey, I gotta go do this stuff. Like, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
She's like, okay. Cleopatra then decided she wanted to join Caesar and did so for the next 2 years. So she literally left left Alexandria, was like, yo, Ptolemy, you got it? I'm a piece. And so she took her little Caesar. Little Caesar was just like, let's go to Rome. So yeah, she just chilled.
And he was like, I'm hot and ready.
Yeah. and the crazy thing is that he's married, so I bet he pretty much just, like, threw his wife to the side because he was infatuated with Cleopatra.
Of course.
Yeah, and she just chilled with him for 2 years, and I was like, that's a long fucking time to be away from your country.
Yeah.
So Ptolemy, I guess, was doing pretty good, because there was, like, no issues during that time, really.
Dang.
He was like, maybe that's a sign that you need to, like, not rule, Cleo. Girl,
it's time to move on.
Just raise your child with Caesar, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, their relationship surprised many. Like, her and Caesar's are like, oh, what's going on? Like, this is a foreign lady. What are you doing, Caesar? Mm-hmm. And this started to cause a lot of gossip going around. They're just, all the people of Rome were like, oh my god, look at this lady. What is she wearing? Why does she look like that?
No.
Why does she speak like that? I don't know. They're like, she's from Egypt.
They're like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Egypt? Wow. She doesn't look Egyptian.
She doesn't look Egyptian. Now, Caesar even created a bill that would allow him to marry outside of the region and create another Roman capital. So he was planning to, like, have everything in line to marry Cleopatra.
Yeah.
Like, he was ready to divorce his wife and to pretty much get with Cleopatra. Now, this made many of the other officials start to question Caesar's intentions, but also Cleopatra. So they're like, is she only using you for power-related stuff? Like, is this legit? Like, is she going to just, like, completely blindside us and just, like, ruin our country and everything that we've built? Like, a lot of the officials, like, all of his, like, people that supported him or, like, had his back, they were just like, dude, what's going on? Like,
yeah.
Caesar was so infatuated by her that, like, everything was blindsided. Like, every single decision was about her in a sense of just like, oh, well, I want to be with her. So let's make this stuff happen. And they're like, no.
Damn.
Finally, the Republic of Rome had had enough. They were just like, we can't do this anymore. This is causing problems. We need to end this.
Yeah.
So, on March 15th, 44 BCE, Julius Caesar would be assassinated by his own officials. Stabbed in the back.
Oh, yeah.
I think, yeah.
I think that's where
Literally.
backstabbing came from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Cleopatra was now on her own with a whole new journey just around the corner. That's the end of week 1.
Woo!
So, yeah, so we have built up with Cleopatra and Caesar, and
we'll see what happens next.
Yes, so
all right.
This has been an interesting one, I have to say.
Yeah, stay tuned, guys, for the next one.
Mm-hmm. It is going to be very interesting because she has a new love interest coming around the corner. More kids, more bullshit. More drama. So much drama. I feel like this is like a reality TV show.
It kind of feels like it, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like they do like those interviews.
Yeah.
She's probably like, so I just got with Caesar and we're having a kid and I'm moving with him to Rome. Like
it's like Cleopatra, age 25. Her real shoes.
Pharaoh to Egypt.
Yeah, occupation. Pharaoh.
Caesar's just like, oh, I really like her.
She has the youth.
She has the youth.
She's young. Beauty. She's beautiful.
I want this to be a reality TV
That would be
show.
iconic.
They just need to make like a freaking
It's like Keeping Up with
show.
Our Kardashians, but it's like Keeping Up with Cleopatra.
The Ptolemies.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
So many of them. All right.
There are so many Ptolemies. When I was doing them, I was like, wait, which one is that? Because like the book that I have, it has like the whole timeline. And so when I got to the Ptolemaic period, it was like Ptolemy 1, 2, 3, 4. And I was like, oh my God, there's so many of them. I was like, how did it make it all the way to 14?
Jesus Christ.
But then again, like, technically Ptolemy Caesar would be the 15th.
Yeah.
If you really thought
But
about
he's not, he doesn't have the same name, so he's technically not.
No, because he's half Roman.
Right.
So you gotta have a Roman name, too.
All right, well, thanks for listening.
What'd you learn?
I learned a lot. I didn't know about their Julius Caesar and Cleopatra's whole love scandal, so this is all very exciting. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to hear what happens next.
Yes, stay tuned for next week. Where can you find us?
You can find us, I'm just going to say, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. They're all under the same name. It's at History of the Podcast. And then we are on, you can send us a Gmail. So historyofthepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, give us ideas, questions.
Yes. Yeah, like let us know if you have any requests for episodes. And we'll do it.
Mm-hmm. If you have any crazy stories of just like historical events or if you just like learn something crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, stay tuned. So we'll see you guys next week for Cleopatra Part 2.
Part 2.
Woo woo.
See ya. Thank you.
Bye.